Hey, good evening, guys. How are you? Boxing 101 right here, Neil the Deal, talkinfight.com. Thanks a lot for coming out here Monday, 8:30 every Monday. Nice to see you guys. We're going to do a little recap of the big fight that went off last weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling well and wasn't able to talk about it originally, but we're going to talk about the outcome. And man, it was a huge event. We're talking Saul uh, Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo. It was a big fight, big fight. Now, I watched the fight live, checked it out, and man, it was to me a little bit of a disappointing fight. They did say that Canelo had a better display in that fight than he had in the last couple of fights, but I don't think that Jermell Charlo went into the fight with the right attitude. I thought he was going to give a little more than he did, and he kind of disappointed me with his effort. It looked as if throughout the fight he was more afraid of letting his hands go and basically winning the fight. It was almost like he didn't want to win the fight. Canelo did what he had to do. He basically ran the board. He won, I would say, 10 out of the 12 rounds. It did go to a unanimous decision on which Canelo did win. And it was totally obvious. Charlo really didn't come with his A game or his B game or his C game. He came with his E game or F game, as far as I was concerned. It was a big disappointment for me. I was looking forward to a real blasting shootout. Punch for punch, punch for punch. Basically, the whole fight was just Canelo using his ring savvy and his boxing IQ to keep Charlo against the ropes, and basically there wasn't a lot of action really. Canelo he did win the fight, but it wasn't one of those spectacular bouts that I was hoping to see. It didn't add up to like the Terrence Crawford Spence fight. It was a bit of a disappointment, but again, Canelo took it down, unanimous decision, and there you go. There's his $50 million. $50 million, something in that range that he made for that fight. So, man, 36 minutes, $50 million, amazing. So let's go over some of the undercards. The undercard was really good on the fight. I watched all the fights, all the undercards, and I really liked a bunch of them. There was some really good outcomes. The first one was in the welterweight division. It was Yorganis Ugas versus Mario Barrios. Barrios was a underdog in the fight, but man, he showed that he was all business. He came out, won a unanimous decision over Ugas, 118, 107, 117, 108, 118, 107, right across the board. Barrios with the unanimous decision. Great fight. Barrios looking really good, and we're looking forward to see him in his next bout. In the super welterweight division, we had Jesus Ramos versus Erickson Lubin. Ramos was a favorite in that one. Again, that was a bit of a confusing fight for me, guys. I didn't understand really what was going on. Ramos basically ran the board the first 5, 6, 7 rounds, and then he kind of let off the gas a bit. I didn't really see Lubin winning this fight, although the judges saw it completely. Erickson, surprisingly to me, and a lot of the people that saw the fight were a little bit shocked at Erickson winning a unanimous decision, which I don't get. 115, 113, 116, 112, 117, 111. I didn't have that at all. It was a bit of a mystery to me. I thought Ramos won the fight, even though he didn't do a lot in the last 4 or 5 rounds. He didn't really lose the fight either. He won the first 5, 6, 7 rounds easily. So never leave it in the hands of the judges, if you know what I'm saying, because that's what Ramos did, and that cost him the win. Definitely. I think he was just gliding, thinking he had it in the bag. Even his trainer was telling him everything's good. Don't get a little too crazy here. Just kind of flow through it, and it backfired, and he lost the fight. So I was pretty surprised about that one. In another one of the undercard fights in the middleweight division, a really good fight. Up and comer, 20-year-old Elijah Garcia was fighting Jose Armando Resendez, and Garcia looked fantastic. I really like the way he put his punches together. I like the way he used the ring. He for a young kid, his combination punching was amazing. He worked the body super good. I was really happy to see him go. He really wants to be a world champion before his 21st birthday, and at that rate, he's got a good chance at it. So he had a TKO in the 8th round, and Redendez had nothing to show. He was a decent opponent. He did show up, but in the end, he got TKO'd. So that was Garcia with the win. Light heavyweight Alexander Goldovic versus Isaac Rodriguez. It was a KO in the 2nd round. And the other fight there on the undercard was Frank Sanchez and Scott Alexander. It was a TKO for Frank Sanchez, big heavyweight fight. So it was a great fight night overall. Like I say, I was kind of surprised that Charlo didn't come out with a little more firepower against Canelo. He was talking a lot of business before the fight, how it was, his big dream to fight Canelo. And, it was the biggest fight of his career. And it was, for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. And I thought Charlo would come out with a little more, but he just didn't show up. And Canelo basically ran the board on him. Just dominated the whole fight. So let's move on to this weekend, guys. I'm looking at a big fight out in England. It's going to be Saturday, October 7th, 2023 from the Sheffield Arena in Sheffield, United Kingdom. 12 rounds in the featherweight division, which is 126 pound, 9 stone, 57.1 kilogram. And that fight's going to be between Leigh Wood and Josh Warrington. Wood and Warrington. They're both champions in their own rights. Josh Warrington is a 2-time world champion, and Leigh Wood currently holds the belt in the featherweight division there. So they're going to be battling for the WBA Featherweight Championship of the world, and it looks like a good fight here. These two guys, as we all know, English fighters, they have big hearts. Both of them have huge hearts. Leigh Wood is 35 years old. He's 27-3, and he has 16 wins by way of knockout. Gives him a 54% knockout percentage. Warrington is a great fighter in his own. He's 32 years old. He's 31-2-1. He only has 8 wins by way of knockout, which only gives him a 26% knockout percentage. But he's definitely this is going to be a really good battle between these two guys, and I'm really looking forward to it. Leigh Wood is ranked at number 3 by Ring, and Warrington is ranked number 7 by the WBA and number 8 by Ring. So this is going to be an interesting fight. I mean, the English and against the English, they really always put on a good battle. They definitely don't like each other, and we're gonna find out who's the bigger and better guy here this weekend. So Wood, he's won 4 out of his last 5. He had 2 fights against Mauricio Lara, which he won 1 and he lost 1. He did beat Michael Conlon in a 12th round knockout, knocked Conlon right out of the ring and onto the floor, right through the ropes. Hell of a knockout that was. And then he had a win against Sazu, which was one of his big fights. Now, these are all big fights for Leigh Wood. And Warrington, man, he's had some huge fights. He probably has had the stiffer competition over his career. He's fought Luis Alberto Lopez recently. He lost. But it was a great fight. He won against Kiko Martinez, and he did also fight to a loss and a draw with Mauricio Lara. So they're pretty comparable as far as their opponents. I do think Warrington's had a little bit harder route. He's got a few more fights under his belt, and he's fought a little bit of stiffer competition. Now, if I was to grade these two fighters, Leigh Wood is looking really good to me. He's got power in both hands. He can punch with both hands with power. He's a great finisher. When he gets you hurt, he definitely he smells blood and he takes you down. He's got a very high boxing IQ. He works the ring really well. And I really like the way that he's looked in his last couple of fights. And he is the champion going in. So it's going to be interesting. Like I say, Warrington is looking to become a 3-time world champion with this fight. And he's a hell of a fighter too. he's a bit of a dirty fighter, Josh Warrington. He does have a streak in him that kind of throws headbutts and elbows and stuff of this sort. So Leigh Wood's going to have to be aware of that and try to stay out of the way of that kind of stuff, because you don't want an incidental headbutt or a clash of heads and get a cut where that could cost you the world championship there. Warrington is definitely, he's a warrior. There's no doubt about it. He's got a good attack style. They both are attack fighters. He's got fast hands. He throws good combos. They both throw good combos. They both have fast hands. Some stiff competition. He fought Lee Selby. He fought, and he did fight Luis Alberto Lopez. So this is going to be a really good fight, guys. I hope you're going to check it out. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. The ring walk is going to be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. I'm sorry, British Standard Time, 10 p.m. British Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 2 p.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be broadcast on DAZN, 2 p.m. start Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 7 p.m. on DAZN Global British Standard Time. You can also stream the fight on DAZN Global app in the UK if that's what you're into. And like I said, this should be a really, really good battle. I think these two guys will definitely give it all they got. Warrington maybe is a little bit worried that this could, if he doesn't win this fight, could be kind of the end of his career, and he's really going to give it all he's got. The odds on the fight, Leigh Wood is minus 250 and Warrington is plus 200. I personally like Leigh Wood in this one by decision. I think it's going to go all the way, maybe split decision, unanimous decision, majority decision. I think it's going to go all the way. I don't think either one of these guys is going to. There could be a few knockdowns, but I think they're really tough, as the English fighters are. They both have huge hearts, and they're definitely going to give it all they got. Now, check that one out. It's going to be great. And the undercard is really good too. There's another fight on the undercard that I'm looking at. It's a big women's battle between Terri Harper and Cecilia Braekhus. These are two world champion women's fighters. Terri Harper is 26 years old, and Cecilia Braekhus is 42 years old. So there is a huge age difference, 16 years apart. It's 10 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now, if you look at their careers, they've both been world champions. So this is going to be a really, really good test for both of them. Harper is the current female WBA and IBO super welterweight champion. She's also a former super featherweight world champion, and she only has the one loss, and that was to Alicia Baumgardner in 2021. So she's a hell of a fighter. And Cecilia Braekhus, well, we all know about her, former undisputed female welterweight champion and the first woman to hold the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO titles simultaneously. She only has 2 losses on her record, and they were both to Jessica McCaskill, one in 2020 and one in 2021, and both by decision. So, this is going to be a hell of a fight. I'm looking forward to checking them out. We'll go over a little bit of their 20. I was saying Harper's 26 years old and Braekhus is 42 years old. So again, there's a big age difference there. It's in the super welterweight division, which is 154 pound, 11 stone, 69.8 kilograms. Braekhus has way more fights under her belt. Harper's 14-1 and 1 with six knockouts by win. She's got 6 knockouts. And Cecilia Braekhus is 37-2-0 with 9 KOs. So they're not really big knockout artists, but they do definitely put on a great fight. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. The odds are Harper is minus 590 and Braekhus is plus 450. I'm liking Harper by decision, majority decision, unanimous decision. So if you want to put a little ding dong on that, you might want to check that one out as well. So Leigh Wood, I'm liking him. Put a little money on him, a little bit of hay. Maybe you'll make a bid on him. And I'm liking Terri Harper in the big battle there, the 2 women's fights. So thanks a lot for coming out here. Talkinfight.com. Always appreciate it. Monday nights, Boxing 101, here with me, Neil the Deal. And enjoy your week. Have yourself a nice weekend. Check the fights. They're going to be great. And we'll see you next week. Like I always say, get better, not bitter. And have yourself a nice week. It's going to be beautiful. Take care. See you next week.